Raggy dolls,
Raggy dolls,
raggy dolls,
Raggy dolls,
dolls like you and me. Raggy dolls,
Raggy dolls,
raggy dolls,
Raggy dolls.
made him perfectly. So if you got a bump on your nose or lumps on your toes, do not despair. Be like the raggy dolls and say I just don't care. 'Cause raggy dolls,
Raggy dolls,
raggy dolls
Raggy dolls.
are happy just to be. Raggy dolls, dolls like you and me. One morning, the Raggy Dolls were up in the treehouse. They were very excited. They had decided to go to London to see the sights.
We'll have to be very careful, said Lucy. There are lots of people in London. Someone's bound to see us.
No problem, said Back to Front. We can use the rhymes that Lady Luck taught us and make ourselves invisible.
But only in emergencies,
added Dotty. Mais oui, agreed Claude. Remember, when no one can see us. Also, we cannot see each other. C'est très difficile, n'est-ce pas?
I think we ought to practice,
said Princess.
We need to invent a way of staying in touch.
That's it, stammered Hi-Fi. We could all hold hands. Brilliant, said Dotty. Good thinking. Let's give it a try, said Back to Front. The Raggy Dolls held hands and thought of the rhyme to make themselves invisible. As high as the sky, as deep as the sea, I can see you, but you can't see me. At once, the Raggy Dolls disappeared from view. They could see themselves, but not each other.
Keep holding hands, said Dotty. Let's see if we can get down the stairs without falling over each other.
Dotty led the way. It was quite easy, but rather strange, holding hands with someone you couldn't see. When they reached the bottom of the secret stairs, Back to Front, who was last in line, picked up a stone. To the others, it looked as if it was floating in the air. Nearby, a hedgehog was snuffling about, muttering to himself. So much to do and so little time. Raggy Dolls didn't notice him. They were too busy looking at the stone.
Who's doing that?
Laughed Dotty. Me, chuckled Back to Front. He began to toss the stone and catch it. The Raggy Dolls laughed. I could hear voices, thought the hedgehog. He looked up and saw the stone jumping up and down in mid-air. He was flabbergasted. Goodness gracious me, he thought. It's a magic stone. He closed his eyes and curled himself up into a tight ball just as the Raggy Dolls decided to head back to the factory and make plans for their trip to London. Back to Front tossed the stone high into the air, and still holding hands, the invisible Raggy Dolls made their way across the big field. The stone landed with a thump, right next to the hedgehog. The hedgehog took a peep, then curled himself even tighter. Keep away from me. In the middle of the big field, Mr. Marmalade, the factory cat, was prowling about, looking for something to pounce on. Suddenly, he sensed something coming, but he couldn't see what. He arched his back, and his tail bristled. Then he heard Sad Sack's voice. Hello, Mr. Marmalade. Look at us. We're invisible.
Honestly, Sad Sack,
said Dotty's voice.
how can he look at us when we're invisible?
The Raggy Dolls laughed. Oh, yes, said Sad Sack. Silly me. Mr. Marmalade blinked in amazement. Is that really you? He said at last. Are you playing hide and seek? The Raggy Dolls came closer.
No, said Princess. We really are invisible. Don't be alarmed.
Still holding hands, the Raggy Dolls thought of the second rhyme, the one that made them visible again. As high as the sky, as deep as the sea, I can see you, and you can see me. At once, the Raggy Dolls reappeared. Bless my whiskers, exclaimed Mr. Marmalade. How did you do that? The Raggy Dolls explained all about the magic rhymes, the four-leafed clover, and meeting Lady Luck. Mr. Marmalade was quite amused. Oh, ho, 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 he chuckled. It's obvious when you think about it. Of course all toys and children's things know how to become invisible. That's why they sometimes can't be found. Your Lady Luck sounds very nice.
Oh, she is, said Princess. And because we've got no children to look after us, she taught us the rhymes. So we could be like other toys, added Lucy.
Well, I hope you use your new powers wisely, said Mr. Marmalade.
Don't worry, said Dotty. We will.
The Raggy Dolls said goodbye and continued on their way to the factory.
Oh, said Lucy. Pumpernickel doesn't know he can become invisible. Shall we all go and tell him?
Even better, grinned back to front. Let's show him. Everyone agreed and set off for Pumpernickel's field, making plans on how they would surprise their old friend, the Scarecrow. When the invisible Raggy Dolls arrived, Pumpernickel was asleep, snoring quietly. Trying not to giggle, the Raggy Dolls climbed up on each other's shoulders and managed to reach the Scarecrow's hat. Then, without waking him, they gently removed it. The hat seemed to hover in mid-air.
Time to wake him up,
whispered Dotty.
But how?
Asked Lucy. Let's make crow noises, suggested Sad Sack.
Good thinking,
hissed Dotty. The Raggy Dolls called, and Pumpernickel woke up with a start. Hey, what darn crows, be off with you! Then he noticed his hat bobbing about in front of him. Oh my goodness! Help! Help, it's a ghost! The hat rose into the air and settled back on his head. Oh no! Get away from me, you spook! Then he heard the Raggy Dolls laugh. Oh, who's there? What's a-going on? The Raggy Dolls made themselves visible again.
It's only us,
laughed Princess. We were invisible, said Sad Sack. Yeah, said Back to Front. You should have seen your face. It was just our little joke. But Pumpernickel was not amused. Little joke? You gave me a nasty turn there, a very nasty turn.
Oh dear,
said Lucy.
We're ever so sorry. We didn't mean to scare you.
Oh, it's all right for you, grumbled the Scarecrow. If you get scared, you can run away, but I can't. I'm stuck here, ain't I? We're so sorry, stammered Hi-Fi. We didn't think of that. Please forgive us, mon ami, begged Claude. But we have only just found out how to do it. Do what? Huffed Pumpernickel. Go round scaring the living daylights out of honest folk?
No,
said Princess, close to tears.
He means become invisible. Please don't be so upset. I can't bear it.
Pumpernickel calmed down. He could see how sorry the Raggy Dolls were. Oh, there now. No sense in all of us getting upset. It's all right. You just gave me a nasty turn, that's all. I'm over it now. No harm done.
Oh, Pumpernickel, said Dotty. How could we have been so thoughtless? Do you really forgive us?
Course I do, smiled the Scarecrow. Dolls will be dolls, I suppose. Looking back on it, I suppose it was quite amusing. But how did you do it? The Raggy Dolls explained. Later, up in the treehouse, the Raggy Dolls had learnt their lesson.
We must never do anything like that again,
said Lucy.
Quite right, said Dotty. We must only become invisible if there is a good reason. Only in emergencies, said Princess.
Yes, thought Sad Sack. There's more to being invisible than meets the eye.
Raggy dolls, dolls like you and me. Raggy dolls, made imperfectly. So if you're not at ease with your knobbly knees and your fingers are all funds, stand on your two left feet and join our Raggy Doll chums. 'Cause Raggy dolls are happy just to be. Raggy dolls, dolls like you and me.